Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Highly Illogical podcast. This is the show where we take the illogical, attempt to make them logical, and logical logic cat. I'm your host, Trevor Shelby. Joining me is also your host, Timothy Reese Scripture, and joining us is our guest, artist, future author, and all-around great person, Kristina Lee.
Hi.
Welcome.
This episode is brought to you by the Highly Illogical Store. The link to the store will be in the description. It'll also pop up here through magic of editing. And this week, if you use the promo code BUYME, all one word, you'll get $5 off your purchase. I highly recommend the Fuck 2020 t-shirt. It really says a lot about how I feel about this whole year. So how is everybody this week?
Doing well.
Good. I'm a man of many words.
Yeah. I am in my camper / studio / fun time, and this is my first test of actually doing the podcast out here. So hopefully everything goes well. Hopefully, if I don't have too many problems. So far, so good, though. Knock on wood.
Yeah, I'm coming from my office / studio.
There you go.
And because my husband's playing video games downstairs.
Well, there you go.
And my baby is very loud.
Yeah. As they are.
Yes.
That's kids. Sometimes kids, they come out of nowhere and they try to pick your nose. It's,
they
amazing.
do that.
Well, I've had
people.
I've had an interesting week. Lots of work, lots of things going on. But this week, I've noticed the bugs out more often.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and not just bugs. The bane of my existence, spiders, have been showing up all around my house. It's a nightmare. And I actually have a video for you guys.
Oh, nice.
So, do you know the Ring thing where it's a doorbell? It records everything that goes by. I've got one. And this morning I was trying to get out to the camper. I needed to do some prepping for this show and get some other stuff out of the way. And yeah, so let's watch this. So this all happened early in the morning. So just it's all, darkened. So here we go. Now, that's me running into the spider web. And I ran immediately back inside, immediately. So this was my solution. I got a broom, and now I'm just waving it around. And I did this all the way to the camper. I walked all the way around the house. And this is me back, and I found the spider. And I'm like, oh, shit. So, and here it goes. My brave moment. Oh yeah.
The poor spider.
And then stomp.
It's dead.
I went in for a second stomp. I didn't know if it was dead.
Spiders are like zombies. You got to make sure to do the double tap.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Definitely.
So that was my very active morning this morning. And it was so sad. It was like a pathetic little tiny spider. It was nothing, but the thing made the web in the wrong place. So
And you can't kill those orb weavers.
Yeah, I used to be really scared of spiders, and now I can crush them in my hand.
Yeah, no, no.
It's a mind thing. You just gotta, be like, hey, that spider, it can bite me, but it's not going to do any harm, really.
Yeah. Well,
just hold him in my hand and talk to him like, oh, little cutie.
We had a black widow spider in our garage, and it would actually set up its little
gorgeous spiders.
Yeah. Sure. Anyways, it had built its little home, unfortunately, inside of my kayak, and so I didn't notice it at first. And what was funny was when I moved the kayak in, I knew that there was a spider trying to, because I had it outside. I moved it in the garage. I could see spider webs in there, and I'd like got them all out, and there was like little egg sack in there, and I kind of like wrapped it up in a thing and threw it out. I was like, but I don't see a spider, so whatever. So I put it inside. So I noticed the webs were back. So I got a little panicky, and I went over and I kind of looked underneath into the seat of the kayak, and I could see the legs hanging, and so I left it because I'm terrified at this point, and I went to the store and I bought spider killer spray, and I thought, okay, this is gonna do it. So I get the spray home, and I don't even get the nerve up until the next day to go out there. And so I get up there, I get the spray, I go out there to the kayak, and I spray it down. The whole time I'm just screaming.
Like Rambo, like you're like, ah!
Yeah, we could go that way. That's a direction. Yeah, very brave scream. It didn't sound like a girl at all. And what was funny was this can of spider killer had a picture of a black widow on it, and it even said kills black widows. And this black widow was just like, give me more. Give me more. I was like, no, this is terrible. So I doused it, and then it stopped moving, and I thought, done. I killed it. Done deal. I go back in the house, and I spend my day having, fun. I did lots of things. Probably had a podcast. I don't know. So go back the next day. Spider's gone. It's not in there. It's still alive in my house. I don't know. I don't know where it's at. I haven't seen it since.
Oh, man.
One day I'm going to get bit, and I'm going to be Spider-Man. So.
Well, you got that to look forward to.
Yeah.
Well, I've been bitten by a recluse like twice, and it never like had a infected area that rotted or anything. It was just like a little bit of raised skin, and then it was gone. And so that's why I stopped getting scared of them, because I was like, haha, I'm immune.
I think I got bit by a spider when I was a kid, and I didn't know. It wasn't like a big deal. Like, I don't remember actually being bit by the spider, but it looked like a pimple on my arm, and there was a red line going down my vein. And it was after a couple days, it was almost to my elbow.
Oh no, that means it's infected.
Yeah. So I went to the doctor, and the doctor was like, well, if it was past your elbow, we'd take you to the hospital, but since it's just there, and I think after that I was done.
Yeah.
I
well, you
couldn't do
probably got
spiders
bitten by
anymore.
something serious.
Yeah. But.
Well, I actually wanted to talk about something that I found out yesterday that I'm actually totally excited about.
Okay.
Mainly because one of my very favorite voiceover actors, hold on, let me look him up, because even though he's one of my favorites, I don't know his name. In fact, I don't know the name of hardly any of the people that are voiceover actors that I love. But that's just because
Mark Hamill does a lot of Batman stuff.
Joker and all that.
Yeah. He does a lot of voice stuff.
It has H. John Benjamin in it. He does the voice of Bob from Bob's Burgers and Archer and all that.
I love him.
Yeah, but it's him in a Star Trek thing that is called Short Treks.
Short Treks.
Okay.
And they have a episode called Trouble with Tribbles, and I only saw clips of it. I want to get the box set because you have to have some kind of Prime or something to see it. But they have it on Blu-ray right now, and just the preview for it, because I guess he plays some kind of a scientist, and he's talking about like, I've discovered this new species, and he gives the scientific name for it, like Triboscis or something like that.
Yeah.
That's gibberish, but so was what he said. And he talks about, he's like, they're this and that, and he goes, and if you take off the hair, they're just nothing but meat. He's like, very pink. And it's just like this little girl holding up a fork with a tribble.
Oh no.
Oh, that sounds funny.
It looks so good. And it's just a bunch of Star Trek shorts, but it is part of the canon.
Oh,
and you
really?
said that it was Amazon Prime?
No, it's not Amazon. I can't remember what they said it was. I'd have to look it up, and it's probably going to take me forever to read it. But I don't know. The Blu-ray.
I'll look it up. I wrote it down.
That's great.
I'm buying it.
Because I love him. He's so funny.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, I was excited about it being Star Trek until I saw him. Then I was like, buying this.
Yeah, I'm sure my husband will love it because he loves Archer.
Mm-hmm. Love Archer too. Have you heard
if I know any voice actors' names that are just like famous people?
Nathan Fillion does some voice acting. He's from Firefly. He's the captain.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I need to pay more attention to that.
He does video games.
Mm-hmm.
Nathan Fillion does. He did the Destiny.
He did Destiny too.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was like, oh my God, he's in this. That's I'm a big fan of Firefly.
Yeah. I love Firefly.
It's such a good show. It was like sticking it to the man. That's why they shut it down.
Yeah. Speaking of video games, the PlayStation 5 is now available to pre-order, and it's a whopping $700.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
That is a lot of money.
Yeah.
For
you don't is it backwards compatible though?
I don't know. I don't know a lot about it except the price tag. I read a title and didn't read the article, so I'm like 90%.
I'm just gonna stick
Americans.
with PC.
So
all the games are gonna come out on PC anyway. So
yeah, we've got a game. What's that called? The Switch. I keep calling it the Wii, even though it's not the Wii.
I do too.
And then we have the PlayStation 4, and then we have Xbox One S or whatever that is. Yeah. So we're cool with that for a while. We don't want to spend $700 on a
that's a lot.
version.
That's crazy. I will end up getting it though, but that is the bane of.
You like the PlayStation games?
Yeah, I like PlayStation. I prefer computer, but I really like PlayStation stuff. I'm
a big fan of PlayStation, or at least it was. I loved 1, 2, and 3, and now 4. I have a hard time finding games that I'm interested in. I'll watch games, but like I'll watch my husband play them, but I don't do them myself. They kind of make me sick because the motion. Because you remember you said that VR makes you sick. I can't even do it.
Yeah,
it's just terrible.
Yeah, no, for me, a lot of video games, I just don't get into a lot of the stuff in it now. It's like console. Now, PC games I get into, I love. But a lot of console games, like I remember when I was a kid, I used to go to a friend of mine's house, and there was a guy that in our town, and Tim, you probably remember this. There was a guy that ran like a little video game store in our town. He sold like baseball cards and video games. It was right by the Sonic. Anyways. And
that's where I bought my first Super Nintendo.
So whenever the PlayStation 1, I believe it was a PlayStation 1, and whenever it first came out, or whenever he first got it, he didn't rent it out. He had all these consoles to rent out, and he only rented out so many. And we were there in the store, and he was like, "If you guys bring it back before I open tomorrow, just you can take it home." And so he gave us that and a copy of Twisted Metal. And we probably played that game all night. We beat it. It was amazing. It was a lot of fun. And but yeah, I don't get that from a lot of games anymore.
Have you played Path
games.
of Exile?
Uh-uh.
Oh, that's pretty good. Like I try to get Megan into it because you can play like together, and
yeah,
it's pretty fun. I mean, it's the only one of its type that I play. I don't play any other kind of games like that because there's just too much stuff to think about when you play those kind of games.
Yeah.
But I got into Ratchet and Clank.
Oh yeah,
I love that game, and I wish they'd make something similar to that game because they're not going to make that game anymore. But nobody makes games like that. I love those kind of games. I love modifying the weapons and things like that, and it's just fun. And then the movement doesn't bother me as much as a lot of the other ones. The more real they get, the more sick I get.
Yeah, I like those games that are kind of like callbacks to the older stuff on like Mario and stuff.
Zelda all the way.
Zelda, Banjo-Kazooie, anything like that I can get behind. Silly enough, like Toe Jam and Earl, I love that game on the Sega Genesis.
Earthworm Jim,
yeah. But I'm more of a PC guy though, so I like to play the first-person shooters or
Did you
like
ever play a game that was like a little tank? Scorched, I think it was. I always used to call it Scorched Earth, but it was just Scorched, I think. And it was just it was very, when the computers were very old.
Okay, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. And you'd be a little tank, and you'd shoot like death's heads, and they'd go all over the place.
You were trying to shoot the tank on the other side? Yep.
Yeah, I loved that game. That was way back.
Yeah. In my high school, we used that game as a we had a programming class. It was for the programming language QBasic, and which is like old programming. Yeah. And it was kind of comical because even when I was in high school, this was like ridiculous to try to even learn. There's like why. But I'm sure there's a reason. I just don't see it. But they let us play around with that game, and I had changed the size of the explosions in the game, where if you were first player, and I always made sure I was first player, you would always win. And
that's
so
great.
you would fire your little shot, and it would be like a nuke. Just eat up the whole screen. I'm like, I won.
Yeah. The way that the weapons would eat the dirt. Reminds me a little bit of war games. Remember when the computer was shooting at different countries and different places? And they just kept going at the bigger circles and everything. I don't know why that reminded me of that.
Yeah, War Games, that's a great movie. That they have now the Worms games.
I know. I was going to mention that one. I love that game. That was old school too, but they've updated it. Yeah.
Yeah. We should all play Worms.
Yeah.
I don't know what
at some point
you guys are talking about.
Oh, you got to play it.
It is hilarious.
You would love it.
These little worms, right? And you're trying to blow them up, or you have like holy hand grenades which go and then they blow up. They blow up the worm, and the worm falls down. And there's a little grave by it. Yeah. And it's hilarious.
Yeah, you're either trying to knock them into the water, or you've got like a team of worms, and you're going up against other people that are on the same island, basically.
Yeah,
and it's just a 2D.
Accents.
It's great.
You can choose their accent. It's hilarious. Oh,
yeah,
that's classic.
That sounds awesome, and I actually would like to try that. But that actually brings up a good point, and something I thought about before. A little off topic, but we can get right back on topic easily.
Yeah.
When she brought up the holy hand grenade, that actually was something I was thinking about. Was one of these times we do a movie review type thing. I think that the Holy Grail, or Monty Python's The Holy Grail, should be one of the movies we should review for certain.
Yes, definitely. Tom and I were actually talking about. We used to do the Laughter Piece Theater. It was basically Mystery Science Theater 3000, and who was it? Mike, who was on that show. He actually started a new thing called Riff Tracks. And with Riff Tracks, he started a community thing where community members can upload videos of them doing what they do, basically. And we were talking about maybe doing a group thing, doing our own Mystery Science Theater type thing. And you can do it off YouTube, which is great because of lots of YouTube reasons. And you can put your video on there, and you can sell like your audio commentary to go along with the video and stuff. It's kind of cool. But yeah, I always enjoyed doing that. So our original YouTube channel that we did, that was a lot of fun, but it was so time consuming the way we did it, because he lives in Tulsa, and it took forever. I would record 5 minutes of audio commentary watching a movie. Like we did, the first one was Night of the Living Dead, and I would cut a few jokes, and then I would send that clip to Tom, and Tom, I would like talk to him like he's there, and then he would send me the clip back of him responding. And like we would edit it all together. It came out really well. But it was like to do one movie, you had to watch it 60 times. Oh my God. So
I love the Night of the Living Dead stuff. Romero's a genius.
Yeah.
Damn right.
Yeah.
I concur.
I was always wondered if he purposely let Night of the Living Dead go into the public domain, but he did for whatever reason, and it allowed it to be remade over and over and over and over again. And it some of the remakes he's hated, but some of them I think that it's pretty stayed true to the original. So
yeah, I liked the new ones too. I thought they were pretty good.
Yeah, he did like Land of the Dead and
it's Night of the Living Dead, and then Land of the Dead, and then
there's like Day of the Dead.
Yeah.
Then there's Dawn of the Dead. And then he did some that here within the last 10-15 years where it was like a kind of first person camera kind of view that I thought was pretty interesting. I can't think of their names, but it'll come to me. But yeah, I've got like 2 copies of it for whatever reason. I noticed that the other day.
What did you think of Robert Rodriguez's Planet Terror?
I loved it.
Haven't seen
loved
it. It was good. Death Proof was good too. They would play them together. Death Proof was Tarantino's. It was
it was done in the vein of grindhouse theater,
right?
Where people could go to a theater and see like a set of horror flicks or whatever, and that's kind of what they were doing, and they worked together on that. So
right.
Yeah. But
yeah,
I love them
my father said he watched that and he was like, "Oh my God, I can't believe Kurt Russell did that movie." He's never seen him in that role, and he was really upset about it. He's like, "I can't believe he did that."
I don't know why anybody would be surprised about that. Kurt Russell has some pretty good range as far as his acting ability goes.
He does. But he's just never seen him do anything like that, and he was very shocked.
Yeah, no. I'm actually a big Kurt Russell fan.
Me too.
I find him to be a really good actor.
Yeah, he is. Soldier was really good. I like that one a lot. And then, of course, Overboard is just classic.
Yeah.
Oh,
haven't watched the remake yet, but
I haven't either.
I don't know if I can bring myself to it.
I don't know if I could either.
they can't make that better than the original. So what's the point? It's just like Footloose. I didn't watch the remake of that because I was.
There's a remake of Footloose.
Yes, there is. I was just like, why would they do that? The movie was perfect.
Yeah. I don't get a lot of movie remakes.
It's because they don't have any original ideas anymore.
Yeah. Although what I do get is, and this is a great segue, is have you seen the trailer for Bill and Ted Face the Music?
Well, yeah, but they're bringing back the.
No. I'm saying like what I do get is this like years later, and like let's do a sequel. Like now, you know, they were just graduating high school to now they're 50 years old.
Yeah, but Keanu Reeves looks good.
Yeah.
He doesn't look like he's aged a day.
Yeah, I watched the trailer, and you know, if I gauge a movie this way, typically, this is the way I typically do it. If I laugh during it, it's probably going to be something that I'm going to enjoy. I'm going to think it's funny. I thought that trailer was great. It really kind of plays back. I haven't seen it yet. Yeah. It plays back to a lot of the stuff that they originally did. I'd actually recently rewatched those with my kids, and so I'm definitely excited about this. So
yeah, I liked the characters. I'd watch it.
Mm-hmm.
I liked the character Station from I believe it was the second one. The two little alien things. Station.
Yeah.
Were amazing. No, I was actually going to bring up a movie that Kurt Russell was in that was remade.
Yeah.
John Carpenter's The Thing.
Oh,
amazing movie.
Good.
John Carpenter. I love
really
one of my favorite horror movies. I tried watching the remake and it was painful. I wanted to say literally, but I hate the overuse of that word.
Yeah.
But it was painful.
Wow.
So bad.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. I literally didn't like
it. The idea is just terrifying, you know, because they do core samples all the time. And, you know, you think about what kind of stuff are they dredging up when they do that. It's terrifying to think about.
Yeah.
And interesting.
Yeah.
they made a video
science,
game,
you know,
of it back in the day. It was on the PlayStation 2.
Such a hard video game.
Yeah.
It was the hardest in the world. It's so good. It was like Lion King times 6.
Yeah. I remember, I think, if I remember right, there was a part where you're trying to go in between habitats or whatever, and the only thing that you're following is like the cable or whatever. It's like a snowstorm going on. If I'm remembering this right, it's been years, but I remember one time I'd gotten lost and it was just a nightmare just trying to figure out where I was.
I couldn't get anywhere in that game.
There was a movie with, I think, let's see, it was the chick from Kate Beckinsale. She was in something that was like in the Arctic or whatever, and she did a scene where she was outside and she had like that cord, and she was trying to get away from. No. It was a like they were in Antarctica.
Yeah.
And then she was outside and it was a whiteout and she couldn't see anything, but she was running away from a killer. And it was pretty intense. I don't remember the whole thing, but I remember that part.
So I guess that's a thing. I guess they run. You run cords to somewhere so you don't get lost.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
I think that's good.
Yeah. Seems kind of funny, but to think of. But yeah, I guess that makes sense. So.
Have you ever heard or read about the psychological issues that you go through when freezing to death?
No.
Like, one of them is that you feel like you're overheating. So they will find bodies in the snow that are stripped down completely naked, because before these people before these people freeze to death, they're like, oh, it's too hot out here.
Oh gosh.
That's terrible.
Wow. Oh, they said people last year, I don't know if it's still going on, but last year were trying to go to the summit of Mount Everest, and I guess they have a base camp just below, and you go up the mountain, and you get to this base camp, and then you wait for your turn to go to the summit. And there were people that they got caught in this this horrible snowstorm or cold snap or something, and there were people that were just waiting to go up to the summit that just were dying left and right. And they said like it was like a record year of people that were going up. I figure if you think you're gonna die up there, wouldn't you just turn around and go, well, this isn't my year, apparently. I mean, I would go back.
That's the smart way.
I don't know how easy it is to go down. I mean, I hear it's a big
guide.
Mountain. Yeah. So
you also have to train for it, like
Mm-hmm.
kind of like in space. You know, they have to train for space. They have to train to go to the Himalayas because the air is so thin that you need an oxygen tank.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there was a guy. I used to work at a science museum here in Oklahoma City, and I worked in the IMAX, and we had a guy that he was an adventurer type person, and he actually went to the summit of Mount Everest several times, and he actually once took a blind man up there. There's why I don't know, but
I guess just to do it.
But he actually the movie that we had with him in it was he led a team of people from the source to the sea of the Nile River. He was the first person to like basically raft the whole thing. Basically, it was a pretty interesting show, but Tim's probably completely confused where we're at. So.
Oh yeah, my computer totally froze up on me. I lost everything, and I was like, "Well, this looks like an opportunity to go get a vape and a drink."
There you go.
I take advantage of the glitches.
Yeah, definitely.
Lemons to lemonade. So what were we talking about?
Going up Mount Everest.
Oh yeah. No, if I was going to go on some death-defying adventure, it would be on a beach blanket and a palm tree and a beach, and I think I'll make it. I feel that I'm strong of will and that I can make it.
Well,
catch your water, and you make it desalinized, and so you can drink it.
Either that or just go to the bar and get something in a coconut.
And see, this is why we need to set our first highly illogical cruise. And
I concur.
Then we could just do it on the cruise. And I'm all for it. So
I haven't been on a cruise in a while. I love it.
I've never been on a cruise.
It's so much fun.
Yeah, you would love it.
You get to see so many places, and you don't have to go and stay somewhere and have to pack up your stuff and go to somewhere else. It's nice to have like a home base when you're traveling.
Right.
And then you can eat on there. You don't have to eat at the restaurants when you go to the islands or whatever,
I'm like the Andrew Zimmerman of my own mind. And I like trying new and weird foods, so I'd probably get out and get sick, and I'm okay with that.
I went to Belize, and I had some of their fish, and it was all bones, and I was just like, oh, I don't want to choke on a bone. But it was like orange roughy or snapper or something like that. It was good. It just was like you had to be really careful not to choke on bones.
Yeah, I think what was it? It was one of the first times we went to Belize, and we saw it might have been Mexico. I can't remember. Anyways, and unimportant. Location, not, it's imaginary land, whatever. So we were in a tour bus, and we were going to see some ruins, and we passed this guy pushing a cart, and basically he was selling tacos for 10 cents US per taco.
Oh wow, that's nice.
I don't know what you put on a 10-cent taco. I was very interested. I don't know I was a little worried. Like I don't
It's
know.
funny that we bring this up because my segment today is going to cover some interesting food. It's
Okay,
not
very
about
good.
it, but just a heads up on that.
Very
It's,
cool.
Yeah,
very
I have.
serendipitous. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're fine. I have something about cooking as well.
Yeah.
Nice.
Just have a theme.
This is turning into a foodie group over here, and I love it.
Yeah. And Tim,
Well, you guys, if you haven't gone to Picasso Grill, you've got to go. It's so good.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I've been. I went with my little brother. Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
And Tim, I would
The only problem is parking.
And I want to let you know, Tim, you don't have to make up words like serendipitous. That's ridiculous. So
Okay, seriously, all right. No,
that's
stop.
not a word.
No,
Okay.
My daughter got on to me like a week ago and was like, "Dad, you got to stop using big words because people aren't even going to understand you."
Oh, now see, you can't
That's
dumb yourself down. No, that's not the way to go. I actually had to do that when I was in middle school because I didn't want to get beat up. Well, and they just did not want to hear me talking about all that stuff. And so I was just like, yeah, I don't know anything.
To me, words like serendipitous or concur are just as useful as words as like motherfucker or
right.
eat shit. Yeah, to me, they're just words. That's it.
I like all the words.
Exactly. Words are awesome.
Yeah.
Especially motherfucker. That's probably one of my favorites.
No, that's a good one. I think my favorite word is probably fuck.
Actually, I have
it conveys so much emotion.
Indeed. I was about to say concur again. I caught myself. Oh, shit, I guess I just did. Never mind. One of my favorite podcasts I listen to, Time Suck with Ben Cummins. That's his favorite word as well as motherfucker.
Oh, yeah.
When I heard him say that, I was like, all right, yep, this is for me. This is
that's hilarious because Mel Robbins, she does self-help and she cusses all the time. It's hilarious. I love it. Because most people like that don't do that. They wouldn't curse because then they would think they would, I don't know, alienate people or something. But she says it and it's all natural. You doesn't even bother you. She's a real smart lady.
Yeah, the other day I was having trouble getting up and I felt real photosynthesis, and it was one of those moments that you're just not feeling that great, getting up, and big words, they work.
What you need to do is take some osmosis.
Yes.
And
throw in some super casual. I can't even say it.
Yeah.
Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. There it goes.
Take 2 doses of that.
I forgot like halfway in. I was like, I don't know what I'm saying.
And this is why we don't do this live.
Yeah, exactly. I have some editing to do.
Not there. Don't edit anything there. That was awesome. All that was great.
Yeah.
I loved it all.
Today I'd like to talk about a few things that are near and dear to my heart. Positive thinking, self-publishing, my writing class that I took recently, cooking, my blog, and my new book and NASA's picture of the day.
Awesome.
I've got a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But it's not going to take that long.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
Positive thinking. First, I'd like to discuss positive thinking. Positivity it opens doors that were previously shut. Your frame of mind is key. If you think you can, you can. If you think you can't, you're right. Affirmations are a very good tool in positive thinking. I've got a few for examples. I give myself permission to do what is right for me. I give myself space to grow and learn. Mm-hmm. I will listen to my intuition and trust my inner guide. You try repeating those every day, a couple times a day. Positivity is rewiring your brain. So like anything else, it takes practice. So I have a couple of quotes that will help positivity. Happiness is a direction, not a place. Happiness depends on ourselves, and it is not how much we have, but how much we enjoy that makes happiness. So, and then, thank you. Now, I'd like to talk about my class that I took was last semester at the Canadian Valley Votech in El Reno. Write, publish, and market your book 1. It was great for my writing. The teacher, Andrea Foster, is a genius. She does editing. She guides your stories. She helps you so much, and she teaches you about publishing and marketing, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit. You can go to meetup.com and search for creative quills, or you can search for writing. And the class is Write, Publish, and Market Your Book 1, and it's with Andrea Foster. She's definitely worth it to go and work with. She's been in the industry for like 20 plus years, and she knows all the tricks. She taught me about advantages and disadvantages of traditional and self-publishing, which is the next topic I'm going to speak about. Traditional publishing, there's advantages, like they pay in advance. They get an ISBN number for you, which you have to have for a book. They file a copyright for your book. They will create your cover art and other art in your book, which is, expensive if you're doing it on your own. They also do royalties, and they sometimes have a marketing budget, but not very often. So you usually have to, that's one of the disadvantages, is that you have to do the marketing on your own. You don't own your own book, which is a big one for me. I can't do traditional publishing because I have to own the rights to my book.
Right.
And you have to pursue them with query letters, which are just basically, they tell a bit about your story, then they tell a bit about yourself, and then what you've done, like qualifications and things. So you have to send out tons of those, and then you may or may not get a bite, and then it takes almost 2 years plus to publish. So that's a big one for me as well. I'm really wanting to get this out soon, by the end of next year, hopefully. You have to have deadlines as well, which is not very fun for anybody. And then, self-publishing is nice because you have no deadlines. You can keep the rights to your book. You get royalties through Kindle Digital Publishing, and you don't have to pay anything for them. So it's really nice. And but the drawback is you do have to purchase your own ISBN number, which is like $125. But that's the only thing you need to pay for. You don't have to pay for the publishing, so I think it's a win. Now there are things called hybrid publishers, which you just stay away from them, because they want you to pay them to publish your books, and you don't need to do that at all. So never do that.
I've known people to do that.
It's because they say they give you so many things, and then the things that you can get on your own if you're self-publishing. Self-publishing is not as bad as it used to be.
It's definitely not.
They used to have a really big stigma on it, but now even famous authors are doing self-publishing. So it's really a good thing to do sometimes. It just depends on the type of book you're doing. Like if you're doing nonfiction or something, you probably want a traditional publisher, because it's just better that way. Like you can get like if you have pictures, you want to make sure you do traditional publishing, because they cost a lot of money to do pictures. If you're doing them in color, then you can't afford to do self-publishing.
I actually self-published my Choose Your Own Adventure book. And it was a lot of fun. I actually paid an illustrator to do like the traditional little drawings and stuff. And I had a lot of fun with it. And one of the cool things was, at the time, and I don't know if this is the case anymore, it's been a few years, but if I only published through Amazon as my self-publisher, and I didn't post it anywhere else to sell, like Barnes & Noble, stuff like that, they carried over the ISBN, all that stuff. They took care of all that for me. I didn't have to pay a dime for any of that.
Well, if you do that with the KDP, what happens is if you use their ISBN number, then they're the publisher. You're not the publisher.
They're the publisher at that point. Yeah.
So that, I mean, you can do that. That's fine. I want to be my own publisher.
Yeah, I understand that. I knew that my book it was really something I made for friends, and so I didn't think it wasn't something I was gonna like try to sell.
Right.
So it's on Amazon though, if anybody, link in the description. But yeah,
I'll be getting it later because I assume I'm a friend.
Yeah, definitely. Don't buy it though. I've got like 9 copies. You can have
yeah, you got the did you get the proofs or?
Yeah,
I got a terrible salesman.
I am. I'll give it to you.
I'll give it to you for free.
They're pre-signed. I didn't even want to take the time to do all that. So.
No, I'm actually happy to hear all this because I'm working on a book right now. It's a series of short horror stories for children.
Oh, good.
That me and my daughter kind of come up with every time we go on like a road trip or something. And I don't know what to do or where to go on it once I get finished with it.
What you need to do is you need to join the Society of Children's Writers and Illustrators. That it costs $95, but there's so many resources. They have digital workshops that they're running right now, and they're on world building, character building, things like that. Very, very helpful. And so you should try doing that. And I mean, it should help. And then they will let you know like how to get published and things like that.
Right. Well, I kind of wanted to finish the book and then have like friends and family read it and be like,
"Oh yeah,
is this good? What do you think?"
You should think about going to joining Creative Quills. They meet on Tuesdays. It's during the day, so it's kind of hard to make if you're working all the time. But it's like 10:30 every other Tuesday, and if you look up on Meetup, they'll have information about them. But Creative Quills, it's a organization of writers. They do prompts and things when they meet, and they also have their own publishing company.
Nice.
Yeah, and then they can edit it for you and give you tips and things, and that it's helpful.
Yeah, see, I'm in a lot of clubs. I'm in an atheist club. I'm in a metal detecting club. I'm in all kinds of things.
Yeah.
And I have a kid, a full-time job, and it's hard to find time to do like things where you can, join in with people that are like-minded and so on and so forth.
Right.
But it does sound like something that I would be interested in, just in the fact that I do like writing. I mean,
yeah,
I'm new to.
Well, they're very helpful.
That'd be awesome. That'd be something really cool. Actually, I wrote a story for a podcast we were going to try and do called Trevor, do you remember the name of it by any chance?
I can't remember the name.
Benny and Vancing.
Yeah.
I
had Benny, but I was thinking what the other one was.
I was actually, since we didn't use that, I was thinking about turning that into a comic book. But I don't know if I'm going to do it or not. I still want to do a voice thing for it, just because I think it would be hilarious. But it's very comedic. It's got a lot of character to it, or a lot of characters in it, and I think comic book wise, it would probably translate really well.
Yeah, I just did the character building for the illustrations. I did just do a digital workshop for that, and one of the very important things that I thought was good was she would draw, like, put your character in the center of a circle, and then do spokes, who, what, where, when, how, and also what you know about the character. And then you kind of look at it. It's like a mind map, is what she called it. And she's a very successful illustrator. She's got like 5 bestsellers on the New York bestseller list. So nice. 5 books. Yeah. So what she said was really, really interesting. And you think about the characters as a movie, or as a visual storytelling, and that way you kind of enrich your idea of who they are.
That's something that I always delve too much into. I think I've got a story in the back of my head that I've tried to put on paper a couple times now, and I actually have a program called Scrivener, I think it's called, and
I think I've heard of that.
It lets you basically like have a cork board of you like put pictures up of like different people, and you can organize files. And what I used to sit and do was like write out the little backstories for each of my characters, and I had all this crazy backstory, but I didn't have the actual story.
Oh, yeah, but that's a good place to start.
Yeah, it is, and I've got it all. It's amazing. It's all saved on there, which is great. But
because I got mine from a dream, my idea, and then I kind of grew from there. And it's like a whole universe thing that I'm creating. Kind of like Tolkien. Not as good as him probably, because he was awesome. But I'm kind of mimicking the old world building thing. So the next topic I wanted to talk about was cooking. Treating your body with respect, whether it's be positive thinking or cooking healthy foods, is well worth it. I'm a pescatarian. I eat fish, chicken, eggs, and I eat dairy products. But a lot of the time I eat vegetarian. And I'm doing this plan right now that does, they do like 3 meals and 3 snacks. And they do a grocery list, workouts, and meditations. And I like them. And it's just like cooking really healthy food, like fresh vegetables, fresh fruit. It's probably more carbs than my gastric bypass doctor wants me to eat, but I think that it's worth it to have a balance because I love carbs. But I have lost 7 pounds in the past couple weeks following this plan. So I'm choosing a healthier lifestyle instead of doing a diet, because that's the difference between losing weight and not losing weight, is that you have to change your whole lifestyle. And they have 3 meals and 3 snacks, but I do 3 meals and 2 snacks because my gastric bypass nutritionists don't want me to eat all day long.
Yeah.
So, but like, for example, there are breakfasts like herb and onion frittata. The morning snack was toasted trail mix today. Lunch was an avocado bowl. The afternoon snack was salsa, and dinner was plant power bowl. And then the last snack of the day was quinoa. There's a lot of quinoa involved, but it's good because it's a complete protein. And it's good for vegetarians. It really is.
I've heard good things about quinoa.
Yeah, you can make it into anything. It's kind of like tofu, you can just put it into whatever and flavor it like you like it.
I love tofu, so.
Okay. Yeah, it's very mild. It doesn't really have much flavor unless you flavor it yourself.
Yeah, it takes on flavor well as far as tofu goes. Yeah,
it really does. So the plan is a balance of protein, carbs, and healthy fat. Complex carbs are good for you because they slow down the insulin production. They don't allow it to rise, and they're less likely to increase your appetite. So if you're going to go with carbs, complex carbs are really good, like whole wheat, things like that. I eat smaller meals because I had the surgery, so I've always got leftovers. They make the recipes for like 1 person or 2 people, so there's usually like leftovers, which is good because then you don't have to think necessarily about the next day. You can just kind of eat your leftovers. I'm going to plug my stuff now.
Awesome.
My blog is 2celtickittens.wordpress.com. I've got 2 kittens, but they're not Celtic, but I like the name.
Right.
Well, what I do is I write what I eat, what I work out, what I do in my daily life. It may sound boring, but I do have wit, so it's not a boring read. And My art site is artisticmanifestation.wordpress.com. And then I have my business email for Mary Kay, which is Kristina Hall 100, Kristina with a K, at gmail.com. And then I would like to talk about my story a little bit.
Awesome.
Very brief amount of story, because you have to buy the book.
and all of your links, we will have all of those in the description as well.
Okay, cool.
So anybody
Thanks.
listening,
Appreciate
you can go
that.
through and click those as well. Definitely check those out.
It's about the hero Raiden, who falls for the leader of an extraordinary race, and he joins the heroine's fight against evil. So basically, it's set in, well, the beginning of the story is set in like 842 AD. And it talks about Celtic gods and how they are actually going to imbue themselves in these innocent people from the Middle Ages, because there's trouble and so they share bodies with these people.
Yeah.
And they kind of police the mortal realm and help them out if they need help. And then they have children, which are the ones that the story is about. And they are fighting against an evil race of people. And there's evil in their area, like in their forest that they live in. And so it's lots of drama.
Very nice.
And like I was saying earlier, I hope to be published by the end of the year, but I keep adding to it. So I don't know how long it's just like, I started out with like 3,000 words when I started the class that I was talking about. And now I'm like 20,000 plus words.
Oh, very nice.
Yes. And a normal novel is like 50,000 words.
Yeah.
So I'm close. I'm getting closer by the day.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
So if you wanted to show the NASA picture for me.
Yes.
That's NGC 2359, which is called Thor's helmet.
Now that's a nebula, right?
It's actually, I believe it's a nebula, but they call it an interstellar bubble that's 30 light years across. And it's blown as fast wind from the bright massive star near the bubble center, inflates a region within the surrounding molecular cloud. The star is known as a Wolf-Rayet star, which is incredibly hot stars, or relatively rare in the universe, and have an unusual spectra. The central star is actually a hot giant thought to be in a brief pre-supernova stage of evolution. It's in a constellation called the Great Overdog, which is 15,000 light years away. They use several different telescopes to make this picture. They had some data from broadband and narrowband filters. They used 3 different telescopes to make that picture. And then the blue color is from doubly ionized oxygen atoms in the glowing gas. So it's pretty neat.
That is very cool.
That is very, very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
like
all
that
I've got for today.
Intensely interests me.
Yeah. It's really neat to go on there. It's just, if you Google search NASA picture of the day, then you can get their calendar, and they've been doing it for a long time, so you can look at all these different cool astrological pictures, and they have descriptions on every one of them, so you can learn a lot.
Now, I don't know if you guys see this or not, but I want to point something out.
Gray screen.
It's is it your cork board?
No. You guys see gray?
Yeah.
I just want to point out that if Neil deGrasse Tyson ever watches this episode and is interested in conversing with us, please come on our show. I love you so much. What are we doing?
If we wish that Carl Sagan can be with us.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Saganauts.
Okay, do you guys see?
Yeah, see the picture?
Yes. So, all right. I don't know if you guys see what I see here, but I see an eyeball here.
Uh-huh.
I see another eyeball and an elongated nose. This is Squidward from SpongeBob. I just want to point that out.
Again, Neil, if you're watching this, he doesn't speak for us.
No, I do actually.
It looked like Thor's head to me.
Yeah.
Which is why it got its name and everything. But yeah, I can see what you were drawing.
Yeah.
No, and that's another thing I was wanting to bring up. Okay, so I'm an artist as well. I dabbled in tattoos for a little while, but I decided I didn't like that.
Yeah.
Anyways, I'm not going to get into that. But I actually part of one of my favorite things about art is the abstract. And one of the things I would like to do is like scribble and then draw what I see in the scribble type of thing. And I do like that idea of just taking something so beautifully abstract from nature and creating something from it, which is why I paint a lot of skulls and weird stuff.
I actually took an art therapy class, creative therapy and art therapy. And they say that, when you do those scribbles and everything, your subconscious is coming out in it. So it's pretty neat. I do abstract as well.
Nice. Yeah. Do you have a Instagram account?
I do. I don't post anything on it yet, but here's a picture that I've done.
Lovely.
Ooh.
I used a lot of textures in my paintings.
Yes. I would say we have one, and that's what I like about is you use a lot of texture.
I like to touch paintings, and that I think other people might want to touch paintings too. So that's why I create them that way. I mean, eventually it'll degrade the paint, but who cares? You're supposed to enjoy them. And I've actually touched a Van Gogh before.
Ooh.
Holy cow!
I know.
That doesn't sound legal.
Nobody was looking.
I do believe that is something that isn't taken into account a lot of times with artwork is the tactile sensation that could be experienced with it. So that's interesting and really cool.
Yeah, I like doing it. I got some pour paint that I haven't used yet, but I'm about to experiment with that. I'm trying to just kind of branch out and do different things, and I've been so busy with my story, I haven't been able to. And then I'm trying to submit a children's story to this Nimrod journal, which is Tulsa's journal, and it's the College of Tulsa, and they have like a summer contest that you can be published in their journal, and it's supposed to be a really big honor to be published in their journal. So I thought I would try and do that, and then I submitted it to Andrea, and I got it back with lots of red. So I've got to work on that as well. So I've been bogged down in writing stuff.
You never know. I once got a short story in an anthology horror book, and it was just a stupid story that I had wrote, and they accepted it, and I was didn't get anything from it.
There's no stupid stories.
But it wasn't that great of a story. It really wasn't. But they liked it enough. They put it in there. And
well, that's good.
Then
you've been published.
Yeah,
twice.
Kind of in a way. Yeah. I don't know. That felt weird. That one was weird. But it was an anthology series, and what the cool thing I liked about it was, like you said before, you like to keep control of your stories. You don't want to just give them out. They basically owned my story for 1 year, and then the rights were returned to me after that year.
Oh, that's good. Because then you get the advertisement, and then also you get it back. That's nice.
So that was a lot of fun. But
yeah, I'm not going to submit it to random places and try to get stuff published. I'm just gonna try and do this one contest because it's supposed to be really good for writers to do it, and that's probably pretty much it. And I'm just gonna focus on novels.
If I ever tried to go the publishing route, I think I would go the get an agent, because I don't want to deal with a lot of stuff. And agenting is like getting you have to send your submissions in. You got to do it in a certain font, a certain way. Everyone is different.
Certain type of
so,
paper.
Yeah, you got to do everything differently, and you're going to wait months to hear back from anybody.
Yes,
but,
exactly.
You know, it is what it is.
Yeah, I've got a query letter actually, even though I probably won't use it, but you can use it for like publishing, not publishing, marketing. You can use it for marketing. You know, I put some of that information on my websites just so people know a little bit about me and a little bit about my story. And, you know, there's lots of things you can do to like promote yourself. I actually got some cards with my new websites on it, and I can give you guys some if you want. And then I also got stickers with my novel name on them.
Oh, cool.
And when we go to like a convention or whatever, once they lift the ban, then we'll have a table. We'll have a table there with the Creative Quills group, and we can sell our books there. Hopefully, I'll have one then, and I can give out the stickers.
Well, there you go. I thought you were going the route of I'm just going to put my stickers up around town, and people are going to be forced to see it because I'm going to stick it on the Starbucks door. I'm going to stick it on. That's what I would do.
I think you should go that route, actually. That's a good route.
And then because it has my my website on there, so that would be good advertising. I don't want to stick it on random places because they'll probably take it off.
Yeah, probably. But you know, it's a sticker campaign. I don't know.
Yes.
Is that a
thing?
Yeah. But yeah. All right. Well, Tim, do you want to do some random history?
What happened today then? Of course.
Yes. Do you need an opening?
I mean, if you really don't want to do the opening, I actually gave you like heads up this time thinking maybe you would have it like prepared, like it wouldn't be such a burden on you.
Definitely have it prepared. I'm not clicking through my files as we speak trying to find it. That's not me. You know that.
You know, you make me feel like a douche every time. And I like my intro. And you did this intro. It is. I think it's an amazing intro.
Okay.
It reminds me of X-Files.
Yes.
All right, everybody, welcome to What Happened Today, then. On this day, in 1817, Carl Friedrich Christian Ludwig Dreius von Subron, or Carl von Dreius for short, or Carl V, or K von, mine homies like to call me K-Doc, bro. A German noble and forest official, not sure what that means, possibly a German equivalent to Smokey the Bear. But most notably, he was a significant inventor of his time, and one of his most notable inventions was the bicycle.
Oh, nice.
I call this story The Horseless Horse. Yeah. Yeah, you guys are ready to rock on this one, aren't you?
Mm-hmm.
All right. The first bicycle was called the Luft Machine.
Oh.
But the French, being the hilarious bunch they were, had coined the mostly derogatory name, the Dandy Horse. The Dandy Horse had 2 wheels and handlebars, but that was as far as the similarities to our modern bicycle go. The craft was made entirely of wood and had no pedals. The Dandy Horse was propelled by moving one's feet upon the ground. The invention of the Luft Machine, right? That's a pretty crazy little, yeah.
Like
just imagine like
Flintstones.
Yeah, exactly. Just imagine straddling this wheeled wooden pole and just like scooting your feet across it. It's a hilarious sight in my brain. All right. The invention of the Luft Machine, or the Dandy Horse, so affectionately coined by the French, was one birthed out of necessity. after Mount Tambora had erupted in 1816, also known as the year without summer, old K-Dog had to find a way to get around without using horses. Due to widespread crop failure and food shortages, most horses had starved to death or were turned into horse steak. Fun fact, fun fact, horse is still eaten by people in Germany.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's nothing better than a slice of Mr. Ed and some Kartoffelpuffer to get me through my day. Unfortunately, the dandy horse was too hard to control and it endangered the lives of walking pedestrians, so much so that the machine was outlawed in most countries, including the US. So thus ends the saga of the dandy horse. And that's what happened today, then.
Now, anytime I see anybody on a bicycle, I'm be like, look, they're riding their dandy horse.
and you know, the term dandy was kind of used for somebody that was a little light in the loafers.
Yeah,
so you had to imagine that maybe those bikes were a little tall and they're on their like tippy toes and they're like,
yeah,
I'm moving places without a horse.
I'm interested to know more about the eruption. Like, was it Pompeii or?
No, Mount Tambora, I believe it's a mountain in. Oh crap! Now I got to look it back up again.
No. I was just saying.
It's a mountain.
Pompeii.
Oh, like if it was equivalent to.
Yeah.
Got it. No, it wasn't equivalent to Pompeii. What happened was the amount of soot in the air had blocked out the sun, which is why it was called the year without summer, and it devastated the crops and
winter's coming.
Pretty much.
Livestock took a hard hit, and obviously once the livestock's gone, food source, is it's
kind of like reminds me of the Dust Bowl a little bit. Yeah, that was terrible.
I wasn't there, but I assume, yeah.
I'm not that old.
Sorry, wasn't trying to make that claim. But yeah. Any thoughts? Trevor?
That was dandy, and would you ride a dandy horse? I would actually. The Flintstone style, I don't know if I would go that route.
When you say but don't do it, makes it go faster. So
apparently, but no,
don't get a large rack of ribs on the side of that shit. You're you're going nowhere after that.
Yeah. Well, the addition of pedals, definitely I would go that route. But and what do you do to, like, if you're going down a hill? Like, do they have brakes? I assume not.
There was no brakes.
So,
and in fact, when the bike was invented, they tried to ride it through the countryside, but seeing as they didn't really have a advanced invention as far as cushioning went, all the little ruts and potholes were basically just banging up the jewels. And they decided to move it to where people would walk and more street-like areas. And what would happen is they would get going, and then they would get going too much.
Yeah.
Couldn't stop. And I'd imagine that something that's completely made of wood has not got great steering.
No.
Especially, the wheels had no traction or grip. So
or shocks or anything.
They were actually harming pedestrians trying to get around town. And then, that's why it was outlawed.
That's great.
Yeah.
Oh. Well.
It's sad to hear about the horses, though.
Yeah, indeed.
They always
Majestic
think
creatures.
that the horses go to the glue factory when they get old. And it's like you talk about the glue factory and then you talk about horse meat, and I'm just like,
I feel like the horses serve a much better purpose as being nutrients than being arts and crafts supply.
Right.
So
eat or kill.
That's the way I look at life. I literally don't kill anything unless I'm going to eat it.
Okay, well that's good. I killed a bug in my kitchen yesterday, and I'm not gonna eat it.
Okay, well, I take it back. I have a few exceptions. Ticks,
Okay.
mosquitoes, and flies because they're little bastards that like to land in my ear while I sleep.
Yeah.
Or on my face. Like, that's the worst feeling in the world is when you're sleeping and you have a fly land on your face. Ugh.
Have you ever had a grasshopper buzz you? Like, just freak you out? Like, I
Yeah.
I
Like
was on a
jump in your
camping
face?
trip.
Yeah.
I was on a camping trip, and I was sitting down on my camping chair, and it was nighttime, and all of a sudden, zoom, right in my face. It was just freaky. I mean, I love insects. I think they're awesome. But if you come in my house, you're dead. You stay outside where you're supposed to be, and we'll be happy.
Yeah, see, I just pick stuff up and take it outside. I'm like, here you go,
I do that too. I just wasn't feeling charitable yesterday.
I like it.
Yeah, I flipped a coin and it lost.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
If I kill anything, it's got to be eaten. That's why I don't kill people.
So did you eat that spider the other night, bud?
Anything I said. I didn't show the rest of that video.
That's true.
So.
You didn't.
I
can't believe you showed any of that video. Your reaction to that spider was amazing.
It was awful. And there was a moment, that's not captured from that is me in the house going just trying to
to our listeners that do not view us on YouTube, you are totally missing out if at the very least watch this episode.
Yes, you have to.
It's like,
I try my best
going
describing
to be clean again.
Well,
that's good stuff.
Do we have anything else?
You don't have a segment?
I don't have nothing really.
What? Do you
you said you were going to talk about some cartoon conspiracies.
I was gonna do some cartoon conspiracies if we think we got some time.
I don't even know what time it is.
Let me pull it up because I've got it here. Okay, so these are quick. These are real quick. Okay, cartoon conspiracies that just some of these are just more not so much of a conspiracy, but it's more of a observation of the show itself, like Scooby-Doo, for instance. That we're talking OG Scooby-Doo. There's something messed up in that world because everything is shut down. You got all these theme parks that are shut down. Everyone's running out of business, and you've got like a guy that looks like a normal, like, I used to own this store, now I'm gonna haunt little kids. And it's like, so someone's gone to like desperate means to like scare people for whatever reason. So yeah, there's something up with that show. They live in a completely different world than we do.
You gotta watch the Supernatural episode where they did Scooby-Doo, because it's hilarious. They're like, why is there no blood when somebody dies, and things like that. It's hilarious.
Is that the one where crap, I can't remember the character's name.
Sam and Dean get sucked into a TV. It's like a TV that's possessed or something.
Never mind. I was thinking of the one where Dean becomes like really afraid of everything, and he screams like a little girl when he sees a cat. Yes. That shit is hilarious.
Was hilarious. Yes. That was, I think he was infected with something that made him fearful of everything.
Yeah. So good. So good.
Yeah.
Such a good episode.
Yeah. Yeah, the last season's out. I'm not really wanting to watch the last season because then it's over.
Yeah. I haven't watched that for a long time because they got a little religioso for my taste.
Yeah, that show,
they talk about the hierarchy, but they're not really prescribing to anything particular.
Oh, no. And in fact, the angel, I can't remember the actor or the character's name now.
Castiel.
I loved him. He's an amazing actor, and he did his part fantastically.
Yeah, Misha Collins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the actor that played Booger plays an angel that tries to take God's place. He did an amazing job
Oh
too.
yeah,
Mhm.
that was
Um,
Metatron.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, he was God's mouthpiece.
So yeah, I watched a little ways into it, and that was fine. It started getting a little too much a little
Yeah.
bit later on. That I was just like,
Yeah, it was more angel and demons. Once they realized that they were actually real, then it was all about angels and demons after that.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I kind of started making me miss the more what's the word I'm looking for? Like the shapeshifters and the
Yeah.
whatevers.
Yeah, the vampires.
A little more.
And,
Yeah.
Sometimes being a little more simplistic is good to me,
Mhm.
because that show, it seemed like every season they were kept trying to top what they did the previous season, and
Yeah, eventually you're gonna run out of cryptids.
Yeah.
Mhm.
That was that show got a little rough for me. I like it. It's just I just kind of fell out of it.
I've been to Supernatural convention.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun.
I actually got a picture with Jared Padalecki and Jensen Ackles.
I have sat in the car from the show at a Geekonomicon.
Oh yeah, they had it at that one we went to in Plano, which is just outside of Dallas. Yeah, I didn't get in it though, but it looked awesome.
It was fun.
The next random bit of stuff I've got for you here, this conspiracy stuff.
Cartoon conspiracy.
So Garfield is not what it seems, okay?
Oh.
And you can go back to, there's a comic from it's one of the original like Garfield comics that
from Jim Parsons, or Jim crap. That's gonna
Jim
bug me
Davis.
Now. Jim Davis, thank you.
So so the Garfield in this comic, he wakes up and he is in a condemned and abandoned house, and he calls out for Odie and John, and there's no answer, and then he falls back asleep into his world. And so
that's crazy.
He's in this thought process.
He's imagining it.
He's always hungry because he is really hungry.
Oh, that's so sad.
So if you think about it, that's like the saddest thing ever.
It is. Oh.
So, like, are you saying that Garfield is actually a cat in a coma?
It's a cat trapped in a house with no food.
Yeah.
And that's awful.
That is awful. Now I'm gonna have bad dreams about it.
Yeah.
See, I was always more of a Felix the Cat fan. So, but
the other one I've got is a little bit on a higher note, and this one is more of a conspiracy theory that I buy into because I love everything Harry Potter.
Oh,
and
me too.
Here lately, not so much J.K. Rowling, but so this conspiracy theory buys into the fact that, and I say fact, that J.K. Rowling is actually Rita Skeeter. She's reporting magical, the book Harry Potter is from the magical world, and it's her actually reporting it. And so she didn't write anything, she just is telling the story for reals. So
it's a character from the book bringing the story of what's happening there to us under a pseudonym or a nom de plume.
And I think the JK stands for just kidding. See, I'm onto this.
I like it. I like that. That's a pretty cool conspiracy. I like that.
That's interesting.
Well, it was random crap I found on the internet. So it was interesting though. So
I find that far more. Oh, go ahead.
Have you seen the ones with Scalamander.
Uh-uh.
The Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them.
Oh no, I haven't.
Oh my God, they're so good.
Yeah. No, are you talking about the movie?
Uh-huh.
Yes. Yeah. No, I've seen that. Yes.
Oh,
I thought you
yeah.
were talking about a conspiracy theory with it.
No,
I was like,
no.
ooh.
Go on. Do tell.
I'm
Do
sure
tell.
there is one somewhere,
Yes.
but no, I was just saying that those movies were pretty good too, and they're kind of like offshoots of, it's like a page in a book that Hermione read about,
Mhm.
or they found that in the library somewhere. And
Yeah.
then she made movies about them.
Speaking of Harry Potter,
Mhm.
the video of you trying to get the spider webs off of your porch definitely reminded me of you, like,
Well,
trying to do like a magic spell. You're like, disappearo, spidros.
well, I didn't want to be outed, but here it is.
You were gonna ride that broom.
Yes,
you rode the broom after.
Yeah, I rode the broom out
video.
after vanquishing the spider. Yeah.
Killed a spider, caught a snitch. You know.
Yeah. See, exactly. That's my Nimbus 3. So,
buddy, that was at the very least a Nimbus 1.
Or a negative one.
Yeah. No, you should have seen the Nimbus 1. It wasn't that great.
Nice.
Well, I feel like we have reached the end of our rope here. And I would like to thank Kristina for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
The door is always open, as we say here. We're always looking for people to join us.
And
so if you want to do it in the future,
I had fun. Thank you.
Links are in the description. Definitely check us out on social media. You can find us at Highly Illogical. I have to think about it. It's a lot of different social media.
Right.
So we got
Such a big
Facebook.
list.
Facebook is Highly Illogical Pod, all one word. We've got Highly Illogical on Instagram. We've got the Twitter, which is Logical Pod. You can find us on YouTube under Highly Illogical. And yeah, definitely check us out. Like, share, subscribe. And
buy our merch.
Buy our merch.
You were asking about my paintings. I have them on artisticmanifestation.wordpress.com. So I have those for you to see.
Awesome.
Most of them anyway. I have a lot of them that I don't post, but there's quite a few on there.
Awesome.
Sweet.
Well, yeah, definitely check that out, and we will see you guys next week. See ya.
Bye.
Bye.